Welcome to today's webinar. It's going to be from leads to listings with our special guest, Brian Toth from Reddings.
It's Bryson. I would hate for you to
Sorry.
keep saying it wrong. It's all right.
But he was being very Utah-ish, which is
He
nice.
was. Did I say it more than once? I apologize.
Oh, you're all good.
Joe, your slides aren't changing. There we go.
Yeah, there we go.
The host from today's webinar, we want you to take really good notes and use that Q&A section there to ask any questions you might have. We'll take as many as we can at the end. To reach us at any time after today's webinar, you can reach us at Darryl Speaks on all social media networks. Darryl's the author of 3 books, all published by McGraw-Hill Publishers. That first one you see there, How to Become a Power Agent in Real Estate, is actually the #1 selling book to real estate agents on Amazon. Today's special guest is Bryson Toth. Hopefully I got that right. From RedX. He was previously the RedX Director of Customer Success. He's spent 5 years of experience teaching and training top producers all over US and Canada. In his first 90 days back to being a full-time agent, Bryson averaged 5 appointments a week with 3 closed transactions. On that note, I'm going to let you guys take it away.
Thank you, Julie. Thank you so much. Welcome, everybody. Bryson, thank you so much for being here today because I know how busy you are and to squeeze this in. Before we officially get started, and I turn it over to you, I do want to talk to everybody for a second to answer a very common question we get, and that is, this webinar a sales pitch? It's not, but I do want to be clear with people. Some of you may not be very intimate knowing me or Bryson. Every week, these webinars that we do are for our power agents. So some of you on this call are members, our power agents, and some of you are guests. And we welcome the guests. You're going to get a tremendous amount of value out of this. But the reason why I'm saying that is because during this webinar, from time to time, I will be having like a sidebar conversation with our members, our power agents, to point things out to them. Those of you that are guests, just to answer that question, what is a power agent? And then we're going to have Bryson give us all this incredible stuff. This is a monthly membership that we have that's valued at $197, but we have been locking it in lower for people at $47 for the pandemic. But we're actually doing something special today. If you want to become a power agent, you can do it for $5 and you get a tremendous amount of benefits like complete access to the website and bonuses today. And you can cancel anytime. So we'll talk more about that later. But for right now, I'm going to stop sharing my screen and turn it over to you, Bryson. I don't know actually how to stop sharing my screen. Are you ready to take over the screen yet or not yet, Bryson?
Yeah, I think I can.
Okay. I will let you do that. And yeah, I just figured it out. So gang, we usually don't interview people. And the reason why we're doing it here this time is because Bryson, he has had so much success using this tool called the RedX system Vortex. And for those of you that don't know what that is, I'll have Bryson explain it. But let me just put a context in to say something before he starts. And that is, you and I in real estate, we make money 2 areas. It's either working with buyers or working with sellers. And we know in this market that when you work with buyers, you're really at a disadvantage, especially in this market, because nationally speaking, you know, your buyer may be fighting with 10 other buyers on this one house that they want to all buy. But the one person that does win in that scenario is the person that has the listing. No matter what happens, that listing agent is in control of the market, the transaction, yada, yada. So the more you can improve and focus on building your inventory, the better your business model is going to be. And it's always come to us, people are like, what tools do you use? How do you build inventory? What's the strategies? What's the technique? And that's where the RedX system comes in. In my opinion, it is by far, there's no second. I mean, if you were to compare companies, I think there's one other company that does it, and it's a distance. Like I don't even see them on the chart. So Bryson, let me turn it over to you so you can share all the wonderful stuff. So go ahead.
Yeah, of course. And thanks so much for that introduction. Like you said, I've been teaching and training agents for the last 5 years, and then came to a point where most of the agents that I was coaching and helping on a RedX tech level were making way more money than me. So I was like, I just need to become an agent. And so I've jumped in last year, and it's kind of fun to have like both ends of the spectrum now, and hopefully that'll be valuable to you guys today. So if you have never seen RedX before, it is mostly telephone prospecting, mailers. I mean, really outbound work, and it's not easy, but that's why I wanted to start out with just some mindset. A lot of times people will find that as you get on the phone for the first time and you're making calls to expireds and for sale by owners, which I know, Darryl, you're an expert at the for sale by owners. A lot of your power agents do an amazing job with those with us. It can be a little bit nerve-wracking. It can be kind of scary. And so the number one thing that I tell people all the time is you have to have a positive mindset. You have to smile, right? And so I thought maybe you'd think this is a little funny. I remember when I was in college, I learned about Pavlov and his experiment with dogs, where he rings a bell, brings them meat, they start to salivate, and it comes to a point where he's able to classically condition them to ring the bell and they salivate. And so I tried this experiment when I was in college where anything good that happened, I would say the word great 3 times and smile. That was my bell. And if I got a really good grade on a test, or I asked that cute girl out, she said yes, I would immediately turn around and just say great, great, great 3 times. And
hopefully the girl didn't hear you because she think you're crazy.
Yeah, she thought I was weird. No, just kidding. Yeah. Obviously in private. And I would say that 3 times. And then after I think it was about 2 months of doing that, anytime anything positive happened, I woke up one morning and I had a test that day or something stressful. I wasn't feeling it. And I just said, great, great, great 3 times. And all of a sudden, the chemicals flow into the bloodstream and I start to feel happy. And that's the kind of association you have to have with prospecting. You can't start the day and dread it, or you're just not going to be as successful. And so that would be my number one thing, is just stay positive. Whatever you have to do, some pump up music, do some push-ups, whatever it is. Because you're going to find that you're going to be sifting through dirt, and there are wrong numbers, disconnected numbers. You kind of have to manage your expectations and realize you're going to be calling hundreds of people, and 1 or 2 out of those 100 are going to say, yeah, let's do something. Let's meet. The rest of those are probably going to either try to get off the phone, ignore you, maybe even say something mean. So you've got to have a tough skin, thick skin, which, Darryl, I know you're very good at. So that's number one. So as far as expectations, positivity, the other thing I would say is you got to practice. If you're not practicing role playing, that's something that's going to be a real downfall for you. Find a role play partner. RedX even has a live role play system where you can call in and it asks you, hey, press 1 for expireds, 2 for FSBOs. And then it'll ask you 1, 2, or 3 for easy, medium, or difficult. And then one of the reps here will get on.
Let me say something about that, because I was talking to Curtis. By the way, again, Curtis is the president of RedX. We have a tight relationship with this company because, again, I'm so passionate about it. But anyway, so Curtis and I were talking on the weekend, and he's offering for power agents, our members, that opportunity to do role play partners. So just before you start prospecting, you can have that agent at their office, RedX, to role play with you, getting you in that mindset. And I know that they're planning on charging for this. At least that's part of the plan. But for right now, our power agents, it's a gift to you guys. So you're going to need to reach out to us and let us know, power agents, that you want to do that. Bryson, before we go off of your attitude, I would like to share my screen really quick, because I want to show everybody something that supports what you just said. And this gang, can you see my screen, Bryson?
Not yet. I think it's loading.
Okay. Let me see. Julie or Sarah?
Yep, we can see it.
Okay, Good. So I just want to, this a couple of our power agents that just like, hey, y'all, I broke down and faced my fear of calling FSBOs. I had my first appointment. I don't have anyone but you all to share it with. So thank you for listening, which is kind of cute. But that's awesome, right? Here's another one. I called 3 FSBOs yesterday. I got more confident today, and I called 8 FSBOs and talked to 3 of the 8. So I just want to highlight what you were saying, Bryson, that here's another one. 7 FSBO calls so far in February, 2 led to conversations, 2 conversations led to appointments, ... Next comes the listings. Thank you, Darryl, everyone here for the motivation. I just, again, that what you said, Bryson, very important is that success breeds success, positivity breeds more positivity, acknowledgement breeds more acknowledgement. When you start, and I love what you said, when you train your brain to look for that reward, you'll then do more activities so you can reward yourself again. So great stuff. Just wanted to jump on that. Okay.
Awesome.
Take back the screen, buddy. I think you have to.
Perfect.
Click that thing.
Okay. As that's pulling up there. So the next thing that I wanted to talk to you guys about is what we call at Red X your lead stack. Just like if you wanted to stack the deck in your favor, that's what we want you to do with prospecting, because we have so many different lead types. You can call expireds, for sale by owners, circle prospecting, just listed, just sold, vacant rentals, and even pre-foreclosures. And so it can get a little overwhelming when you've got so many leads to call, which is not a bad thing, but where do you even start? And so I'll just show you what I do. This is Vortex. So I log in every day, and I'm looking at what's called our list view. And so I can just go down all of these system filters to just see my expireds, or we call them geo leads for your neighborhood circle prospecting, your FSBOs. You can even filter down more because we're going to give you like a whole county of FSBOs. Well, maybe you don't want to call all of those. And so I go down and I create my own saved filters to stack the deck and say, you know what, I'm going to start every morning with my follow-ups. Any leads, hot leads, people that I almost got an appointment with, I'm going to reach out until they list with me or somebody else. So I start out right there. And then I call the brand new expireds. Now, there aren't a ton of expireds right now, so that's not going to take a whole bunch of time. But those are pretty competitive. A lot of other agents will call those, but a lot of those other agents don't have an awesome coach. A lot of those agents don't know what to say. They're just calling because they heard that it was a good thing to do. So you've got a leg up. So be the first one or the second one, because the first or second person to call usually is the one that's going to get the appointment and get the listing. So I call those brand new expireds. Then I go to my brand new for sale by owners. And I know, Darryl, you guys have some awesome scripts that you use to call expireds, for sale by owners. And I would say make sure you're ready and you know what to say, because it's going to come up fast. You're going to be dialing quickly. And I'll show you the dialer a little bit later. But that's how I stack the deck, is expireds, then for sale by owners. And then I follow up with older expireds, and then older for sale by owners. And then I go into vacant rentals and follow up with the older ones that I've talked to. It's a lot of follow up, you guys. And then I go into my geo leads and just start calling around listings, around open houses in my brokerage, anything that I can to show them that I am an expert in the market, that I've got some business already in their neighborhood, and then go from there. And then I've got a few others, like if anybody is curious, there's a way in Red X that you could just target absentee owners, people that are not living there. So that's how I stack the deck.
Yeah, now, I just, because I see questions coming in, I just want to help people understand. So what we're going to do is at the end of, or towards the end of this hour, we're going to stay and then start reading those questions. So if you have questions, put them in the chat the way you're doing. They're not getting published. We're storing them on the side, and we're going to start answering them once at the end. But here's what I want everybody to continue to listen from this point forward is sometimes as you learn things, you get more questions than answered. But look at the concept more than the specific aspect. Like, for example, the concept of what he just said, Bryson, about stacking your leads into categories And then from the start with number 1, number 2, number 3 in your morning. So that way you're not so overwhelmed. What should I do today? Where do I start? That's the concept that's powerful, Bryce. And I love what you just said. So, so continue. This is great stuff. I'm learning here.
Yeah. Well, and I would say too that depending on your market, this might not be the best way to stack your deck. You might have more vacation rentals in your area, and that's something that I don't really do. And so you could import your own leads in here. There are a lot of ways that you can know what's the best person to call right now. One that I'm going to be moving up higher on my list is actually the old expireds. And that's a great thing you can do with RedX too, is we can help you. Just call us once you're a member, and we can help you pull old expireds into your system from like 2, 3, 5 years back even. It does take a while to do that, but you can call people that, they considered selling before the market was this hot. So nobody's calling those right now. So just keep in mind, this is not the silver bullet. You're going to have to be versatile. And that's another great reason.
The point is take your leads, put them into categories, and
exactly
what you're calling stack, and then take your categories and put them in the order of which ones do you want to hit when you go sit down at your desk, the first group, then the second group, and etc. Good.
Yeah. And it's important to track your stats too, because at the end of the year, you should know what category, what lead stack did I get the most business out of, and then start prioritizing from there. And there's some cool tools that we have too to show you how you can track your leads, your stats, all of that. Perfect. So I'm not going to go super into depth, but like Darryl said, if you have any questions at the end, I'm more than happy to do that. But I'll just show you what it looks like when I go in and start to make calls, and the kind of the tools that are available to you. So these are my new expired. So we'll just click on one of these here, and you can see just general information on this list view. But if I click in, I can see the name that's on the tax records. I can see any phone numbers if they're on the do not call list, which I recommend you avoid. And then I can pull up any notes that I can take. I can add them as a hot lead if I talk to them. With the dialer, we would recommend you disposition every single phone number. So I can click on this little icon here, and I can mark what happened on the phone call. That way I don't accidentally call the same person twice when they already told me no, or they already told me yes. I don't want to look like I'm stupid. And so I can track everything that I do. I even set up a system of folders for every week of the year, because some people will say, oh, you know what? I'm not ready yet. I talked to a guy yesterday that said, I'll be ready in about 6 months. Well, I'm going to call him in 3 months. And so I would put him into a folder. I just go up here and I would hit in 3 months, call him probably, the second or third week in June. And I could put him in that folder. And then when that time comes, I check that week's folder and call. So lots of ways to stay organized. I know, Darryl, you're a big proponent of making sure you're organized. I don't know if you have anything else that you'd want to say about any of this so far.
I appreciate you giving me the opportunity to do that. Not right now. I do have some suggestions about staying focused and organized, but continue. Thank you.
Awesome. Okay, well, on the right-hand side here, you can see all the information about the home, how many beds, baths, square feet. You can see whatever we pull from the MLS, list price, list date, days on market, even the remarks are right in there. Then tax information as well. And that's how we actually find out, is this somebody who lives in the property, or do they own it and they live somewhere else? So I can see here their mailing address is the same as the property address. So they probably live there. So lots of information right at your fingertips. And I just go through and pull down my script, and you could even put in, one of Darryl's scripts that he has for you. You just add it right there, copy and paste it in, and you've got that right in front of you. You can even have it put their name, the actual address. It inserts those fields for you. So you can be very versatile that way too.
Now, hang on 1 second, Bryson. I go back to that because I want to show everybody or tell them. So I have on my slides, but I'm not going to go back to my script. I want to talk to the power agents for a second. Power agents, the dialogue that you have is does incredible results. Like if you call 5 FISBOs, you should get 3 appointments using the power agent dialogue. That's our track record. Now, what you want to do, so I guess what I'm saying is don't use the Red X scripts. You'll see on the screen right now, it says edit. So what you can do is edit. You can copy and paste it, and bada bing, it'll be, he just, there you go. Look at Bryson. He's doing it for us. Power agent dialogue. I didn't know that you could add that tab. I didn't see that. Okay. So, and then you can just paste the dialogue and it's right there for you. So great stuff. Good. Yep. Got it.
Perfect.
Thanks.
So all of that, super easy to manipulate and change as you need to. You can even open up your script in a different window or print them out if you want. But I'm a huge proponent of dialogue, of scripts. You've got to know what to say. So then let me just show you one of the most powerful tools that I probably could not succeed as an agent without, and it is the dialer. So let's just say I'm going to call a neighborhood. I can go up here to the geo leads, and I could put in an address of one of my recent listings. So let's just put that in here. And I just want to show you like how dynamic this is. So it uses Google Maps. So you don't have to put the address perfectly, and you just hit search. And it's going to pull up a map. And of course, sometimes when we're on these screen shares, it takes a little while.
Now, while it's doing that, I want to say, while that's going, Bryson, I want to tell people, because I just saw Jane Morales ask this question, which is a really important question I do want to address now. I don't know about other databases or CRMs, but with our CRM for power agents, the Power Builder, we are in the process of there's some technologies, things that are happening right now, but what you can do is you can take your FISBO and expired leads that you get from RedX, you make your call, and then export it into the Power Builder CRM, and then continue your conversations and follow-ups and email newsletters or mailing campaigns from the CRM. So Jane's question, we are working on having that completed. So go ahead, Bryson.
Awesome. So if I was to go in and let's just say here's my listing and it's in this residential neighborhood, I could go in and decide I want to call, the nearest 100 people and preview that, and it would just pop up with all these pins. And then RedX is going to go search all those names, phone numbers, any details that we can get to get you in contact with that person. Well, it would take a while if you were to go knock those doors, which I would recommend doing that too. But it could take you hours and hours to just pick up the phone, dial by hand, and maybe you accidentally fat fingered a phone number. You have to delete it, redial, ring, ring, ring. You get their voicemail. It's super long because they introduce every member of their family. And then it beeps, and then you leave the message. It can be quite a process. And so if I was to do this with our geo leads and just say, well, let's get these leads, I can go in. It'll create a folder for me in my listing here. And instead of having to go one by one, I can select all of the leads at once. So I've got, let's just say I pulled like 33 here. I just click this checkbox here. It selects all of those leads. I hit dial. And it's going to ask me, hey, you were calling for sale by owners earlier today. Do you want to finish that list? You were halfway through. Well, I'll just say, no, I don't want to resume. But cool. I could pick up right where I left off, which is nice because sometimes interruptions happen. And then I can control which numbers I want to call. Remember those dispositions? I probably don't want to call all the people that told me they're interested or the people that told me they weren't interested, even though I actually do call the not interested people a couple months later because they don't even remember who I am. And then I've got people that I left a voicemail with that didn't answer, people that I haven't talked to at all. And then I can exclude people on the do not call list. I could say, well, actually, I do want to call mobile numbers, so I can put those in there. I can leave out people that I already called today, and then load the dialer. And there's some pretty cool things you can do. I can pre-record a voicemail. And so when I hear their voice message start, I don't even have to wait for the beep. I can just click drop voicemail, and it will wait for the beep, then leave my voicemail while I'm already calling the next number. Saves a ton of time. I can call 2 people at a time, 3 people at a time. And if I'm calling 3 lines at a time and 2 of them pick up, I can just basically hold one and talk to the live person and then call that next one back. It just prioritizes it for me. So lots of cool tools. And I'm able to get through, 2 to 3 times as many conversations, contacts this way. It's amazing. So
that's why they call it power dialer. That's why they call it power dialer, because without that, you're basically manually you're looking at your phone, looking at the computer, dialing the number, blah, 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 and hang up and do the next one again. So I know the studies have shown that our power agents that are using the dialer, they can do, I think, I don't want to misspeak, about 2.5 times more contacts per day than if they were manually doing it. So it's definitely a time management thing as well.
Exactly. And it's called prospecting for a reason. If you go back to, California gold rush, instead of digging through the dirt by hand and trying to pick through and get the little flecks of gold, use a tool, use a machine to do that for you. There's no reason not to. And so it is more of an investment, but I make more money because I use a dialer. So lots of tools here, lots of things that you can include. I can do time zone protection, so I make sure that I don't call people, if there's a homeowner in Hawaii and call them at 4 a.m., I can make sure that doesn't happen. I can even record calls. Obviously, you need to ask their permission and make sure you know your local regulations. But that way I can go back and listen to the calls that went really well and the ones that didn't go well and start to figure out what did I do wrong, or even send that to a great coach and say, hey, will you listen to this? Tell me what you think. So lots of cool tools there.
Now, by the way, I will address these questions now because I don't want people to stop listening, because I know there's more than one question on this, which is about the do not call list and the robocalling, like the automatic, that it's against the law. So with the robocalls, that's not what this is. Robocalls are where you are a recorded message that just calls people and it blasts a pre-recorded message to them. That's not what this is. This is a software that's connecting you with a live person once it hangs up. And if their voicemail kicks on, then your pre-recorded message will leave a message. So it's not the same that law. So you're not breaking the law with this. That's number one. Number two is the do not call list. Bryson said that he doesn't call people that are on the do not call list. Our philosophy here at Power Headquarters, though, and some agents do different things. The research has shown for us is that somebody who is a FSBO or an expired, it's okay to call those people even if they're on the do not call list, because the do not call list references unsolicited calls that are solicitation. We're not soliciting for business. We're responding to an ad that they generated. So the FSBO is actually the opposite of an unsolicited, because they're soliciting calls by advertising their phone number. So, but you should do whatever your broker says to do. That's the punchline on that one. Okay, Bryson, take it away. Keep going.
Awesome. And I would say too, with that, like anything you do in real estate, there's a risk tied to it. And it really is up to you to weigh what's the risk, what's the reward. So I have my own philosophies, but I think it's important for you to figure that out too. Yeah. So all of these tools are really super helpful. The other thing I want to show you, other than the dialer, is our pulse tracking. And so if you go up here, there's this little, heartbeat monitor here. Just like, if somebody is not doing well, you check their pulse right away. We've got that right here. So I can go in and see the calls that I've made, the expireds, geo leads, for sale by owners. That's mostly what I focused on this last month. I could see how many leads I called, how many calls I made, contacts that I've had, how many appointments. So you can see your averages, your totals, and it's it's pretty amazing to be able to look back and see, okay, out of the time that I spent, what was the most effective, what was the most valuable, and just break it down from there. And so all of that is included as well. One of the things you can do with RedX as well is you can choose what you want to count as a contact. Do you want to count anybody that says, yeah, I'm interested, anybody that, maybe is a wrong number, but you still have a conversation that turns into an appointment, which happens. You can choose and kind of manipulate how you want to measure certain things in your business as well.
Now, I want to highlight what the pulse and how important that is. I mean, gang, that's like any athlete that knows their numbers, whatever the athlete is. If it's running, it's their time. If it's a baseball player, it's their RBIs. And so athletes know their numbers because it objectively tells you your strengths and weaknesses and where to improve. Bryson talking about, which was great, how important your attitude is. And sometimes we're our worst enemy. We beat ourselves up more than what the actual reality is of what's happening. And so this pulse takes the self-persecution or judgment that you might have on your abilities. It gets rid of that, and it makes it more scientific and factual. Like, all right, here's the numbers, here's the calls you made, and here's the results that you got, and where are you having a challenge and how to fix it. So anyway, good stuff.
Yeah. And I would say too, if you're looking at numbers, then you can know where your weakest point is. I know people who they realized that they were making tons of calls, but they weren't really having very many conversations about real estate. If they got a wrong number, they just said, oh, I'm sorry, thanks, bye. Mm-hmm. And looking at their numbers, they realized I need to get more actual conversations about real estate. Mm-hmm. And so what they did was they put a string of $20 bills up in their office. Okay. And every conversation about real estate, they took one down. And at the end of the day, anyone else in the office, if there were any $20 bills left, they could come and take them. And so it was accountability based on the numbers, which I think they even copied the clothesline thing from some coach out there, but it worked. And so, yeah, whatever you got to do. I even know a guy that he would go in the mornings into his office, didn't have windows, just his own closed office. He would take off his pants and he would open the door, hand his pants to his assistant, so he could not leave his office until he was done prospecting for 2 hours. Do what you got to do. I think that's a little weird. But
okay. I just thought of several jokes right now, and all of them are inappropriate, so we will just move on.
Right.
But thanks for sharing that, Bryson.
Yeah.
I'm going to have that vision in my head when I go to sleep tonight. Okay.
Great.
Let's continue.
So I think the last thing that I would show you about all of this is in this market, especially when there's so much competition for listings, you need to set yourself apart by being the expert. And some of you on here are brand new agents. I just got my license last year, but I feel like an expert because I've got some tools in front of me that really teach me and can show people what I know. So let's click on one of these leads here. RedX has what we call data insights. We've got 4 different insights. One is market insights. So I'll show you that.
Well, hold on. Let's see. Julie, can you still hear me?
I can hear you, but Bryson is frozen.
Yeah, Bryson got frozen. So do we have Bryson's cell phone? Because we need to text him or call him or something, let him know. He probably lost the connection. And that's okay because which we did. We lost Bryson. So I'm sure he'll come back. Not a problem. So he's coming back. Okay. How exciting is no, he's not. That was just make believe. Okay. So not a worries, gang. So while Bryson is coming back, let me just share my screen real quick. And I'm sure he's going to be coming back to us at some point. But there you are, Bryson. You there with us?
Yeah. Can you hear me?
I can. So I'll use this opportunity to make sure that you stick with us. So I'll give it a few minutes. I want to talk to the Power Agents. Power Agents, when you go to the Power Program website and you go to prospecting. Hang on, we lost my screen. So let me go back to present share screen. So give me 1 second, everybody. Technology is great when it works, right?
Yeah, you live and you die by it.
So let's see, Power Agents, when you go to prospecting, there are all the dialogues that you need in calling the FSBOs, expireds, the voicemail for rent by owners, vacant property. It's all there for you. I'll just point out and shout out to one of the Power Agents, Carmen. What Carmen said in one weekend, she said, I love Darryl's FSBO dialogue. And do we still have my screen up or it's gone again?
Gone again?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't see it.
Yeah. So, sorry.
Technology.
Yeah, sorry, gang. We're just having some wackadoo stuff happening here. So hang on 1 second because now it's just not working. So, all right. Wow. So, and it's doing something super weird. So, Bryson, let's try you sharing your screen right now and see if it sticks.
Yeah.
Sorry, gang. So Bryson's going to share his screen and we'll see how that works for us.
Pulling it up now.
All right. While that's happening, I'm going to see about answering some questions here. One of the Bryson, while that's trying to do it, which it seems like it may not be, it's having a problem. One of the questions that came from Karen McGuire is REDX available in Canada?
It is. Not everything, but we do have for sale by owners, for rent by owners, so vacant rentals, and the dialer it is available in Canada.
Okay, so some of the items are. Okay, good. So what I'm going to suggest that we do, because your screen's not popping up either, what we're going to do is, Bryson, do me a favor. Can you log out and come back in? I think that will fix the problem. When you do, don't share your screen. I'm going to try and share my screen while you're offline, okay?
Okay.
I'll see you on the other side. Go ahead. So, gang, while Bryson is logging out and coming back in, I am going to see if we can share our screen again and see how that works for us. And so give it a second, and I think it is working. I think there was something I could do about Bryson's screen share. So I think we're good on this. Yes, Julie?
Yes.
Okay, so what I wanted to point out once again is, because this is very inspiring, Carmen got 5 listing. She actually listed 5 FSBOs in one weekend because she was doing what Bryson's saying. She was staying focused. She was prospecting. Gang, if you just focus on this is going to be huge for your business. I want to tell you something. Some of you may not know this. This is the last live huge event that we did, about 1,000 students in class. And one of my claim to fame is calling FSBOs in front of our training, in front of our live agents. And thank God that they're live. But anyway, we pipe the cell phone through the speaker so people can hear both sides of the conversation. In my batting average, if I speak to 5 FSBOs, I'll schedule 4 appointments. And it's with this dialogue. Now, we're not going to spend time going over the dialogue because hopefully Bryson's going to be back with us. But having the point that I was making is that having really strong dialogue is important. Leaving a message like this one: hi, this is Darryl Davis, Power Realty. The reason why I was calling you, I know you're selling your house and I have some important information about that. I might even have somebody who would be interested. I'm not sure because I need to get some information from your house first. Please call me back. Now, what's great about that dialogue is it teases the homeowner, the for sale by owner, to call you back because they want to know what's the important information. And it's not promising that I have somebody for your house. I may, but I need to get some information first. When they call you back, you just do the other dialogue, which picks up with, well, I see that you're trying to sell your house. Let me show you. When you're confident, Bryson, I'm glad that you're back. Here's an example. Bryson said you got to have dialogue that's really strong and that gives you confidence, that you're never at a loss for words. I'll give you an example. This is the Power Agent FSBO Dialogue. Hi, I'm calling about the house for sales. It's still available. Hi, this is Darryl Davis, Power Realty. How are you? The reason I was calling one of your worker brokers to sell your property, so you are trying to do it on your own. I'm just curious. Is that because you want to save the brokerage fee? Let me ask you this. Where you move it to, why they want you to get to buy? Let me ask you, if I had a buyer who's willing to pay your price, pay my commission, could we work together? Is it possible? In case to do that, but first I need to see the house. Listen, you got nothing to lose and everything to gain. Or after all, you're letting complete strangers into the house. You don't know if they can afford the house for free. Well, I'm licensed by the state. Anyway, I can go on. What's great about having dialogue that you feel comfortable with is that if you get an objection on the phone or somebody tries to, listen to what I'm saying, this is very important. When somebody says something that's going to take you off track, you having that strong dialogue, you can easily bring yourself back. And to make my point, I'm going to use an analogy. When you're driving from your house to the office, you don't probably use your GPS. You don't use Waze. You know how to do it. You've been doing it over and over again. You know it so well. Now, let's say you had to get off the path to go get some gas. When you got your gas, you didn't sit in the gas station wondering, where do I go? You get on your path back where you got off because you know it that well. It's the same concept. When you look at going from your house to your office, is the same as when you pick up the phone to call that for sale by owner and have that appointment. You know the dialogue so well that no matter what they throw at you, you get off your path, you handle what they just asked, and then you get back on where you got off. So anyway, Bryson, how you doing? Are you back?
I'm hoping I'm back.
You look back and you still look handsome. Okay. That's a good thing.
Good.
So let me share with you. Somebody said about texting on the do not call list. Like, is it okay to text a do not call list? From everything I understand, it's okay. But again, if somebody's a FSBO, it's okay. So having really good texts, Power Agents, I want to remind you that there's a tremendous amount of texting that we gave you, texting scripts, if you will, for the FSBO, for the expired, which Power Agents are using this, are finding some really great results with it. Of course, we got the expired dialogue, the expired voicemail. So let's go back to Bryson. Bryson, could you try and share your screen again?
Yeah, let's see if this will work.
So you're going to turn mine off at the same time. I think it does it automatically once you say share my screen. And isn't this exciting? It's exciting because we don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
So while he's doing that, let me see if Tule wants to know how much does this cost. So you know what? We'll cover that in the next about 15 minutes, Tule. We'll get into all the questions about cost, okay? So let me publish that one. Go ahead, Bryson. You're back.
Okay, and you can see my screen?
Yeah, man. It looks beautiful.
Good, good. I was just going to show you real quick some of those insights. And then I can show you the mailers as well. Is there one that you want to? Do you want me to just go directly to?
No. You go. They heard enough of me. Go ahead.
Okay. Sounds good. So we've got 4 different data insights that can make you an expert. And I'm not sure if I'm repeating myself or not, but I'll just say real quick. It's hard when there's a lot of competition to set yourself apart. And so these 4 insights. One is market insights, and it boils down to the zip code of whatever lead you were clicked into. So I can see here in South Jordan, Utah, 84095. Obviously, I already know it's a seller's market, but it will tell me kind of where we are on the spectrum. I can then see real-time data on the median list price, how many listings there are, average days on market, what median rents look like even. So I've got that right in my back pocket. If any of these people, Craig or Shannon's just like, hey, by the way, we've got a basement. What do you think we could rent that out for? Well, I could just say, well, I think according to the data, you could probably rent anywhere from a $750, but I'd have to see the house, and I can go into my script and try to get an appointment. But at least I've got something to tell them. Median list price, there's graphs here that I could see where we were as opposed to where we are. Hopefully you know some of this data already, but it's great to see. And then it even puts different categories to the bottom end of the spectrum to the top, and average square footage, beds, baths, how old the house is, all of that. So I've got all of that at my fingertips. The other thing that I can see is our data insights that go from financial to home and building. So I'll just show you the financial insight package. I could see how much their income likely is, how much mortgage debt they have as opposed to the equity that they likely have. I mean, that's a pretty amazing number that I could display and just say, hey, by the way, Craig, do you know you probably have over $300,000 of equity in your house right now? Maybe even close to 400.
Wow.
I mean, that positions me as an expert. And then I could see, about how old they probably are, if they have kids or not. And with geo leads, I can even pull FSBOs, geo leads, anything I want, and see details on the home, what it was built out of, the type of roof, all of that stuff. So I already know details about their house. And then we've even got lifestyle interests. So I can see this person's a dog owner. They like to read, do home improvement, interest in health, exercise, football, which kind of creepy. I wouldn't just go in and be like, so I hear you like fishing,
Yeah.
But what I may say is,
or you have a nice dog, they'll be like, wait, you stalking me? Yeah.
You can get yourself into trouble here. But I would say use this at strategic moments. Like as I'm finishing up the call, I could say, well, I'm going to go take off, probably do some fishing later on today. So you have a wonderful afternoon. I even had a lady that it showed that she had an interest in antiques. And as I was driving to the appointment, I passed an antique store. And so when I got to the door, I was like, hey, Karen, by the way, I saw this little antique shop on the way over. Have you ever been there before? And she was like, oh, I love that place. And we were best friends immediately. So use it strategically. But all of those position you to have rapport, be the expert. So
wow.
Great tools.
That's some freaky stuff right there. That's pretty cool.
Yeah. And then I think lastly, as Darryl, you were just mentioning this, but you can even quickly mail these people. We have mailing templates, or you could put in a template from Darryl and put that right in. I could just click this mail option, create one, and then I can download a list of labels, and just print them all off with their name, my name, any information that I need to put about their home, all of that right in there. And you just download a PDF, print it, mail it, and you're all good to go.
Now, let me ask something on that, Bryson. How many templates on the mail does RedX have when it comes to expireds and fit? Like how many?
So we just have one template per lead type. So if you click on here, you'll be able to pull that one in. I would definitely recommend. I mean, we did a little bit of market research, and I know people who just use what we have and they get appointments from it. But it depends on your market. There are a lot of things you'd want to change based on your strengths, what your brokerage does, put your branding on, all of that.
Now, can you create your own or import other templates so you can add more than just the one?
You can create your own. We don't have an import feature yet. But very simple to go in and just create a new template, and you can add different fields. You can insert pictures and images, all of that.
Can you do a paste like a Control V?
Oh yeah.
Darryl, your mic seems to be a little low.
Okay, thank you. We can fix that. So just Julie, tell me if I'm too loud or whatever. Okay.
Yeah.
But I just increased it. Okay, just interrupt me again, Julie, if you need to. So you can paste that, yes?
Yep, you can.
Okay. So all right, then let me jump over. Let's jump back over to my screen then, so I can just show the you don't do anything, Bryson, and because I want to show, let's see, Power Agents. So when you go to the dashboard of the Power Program website and you go to Classroom, there's all the aspects of real estate, whether it's buyers, negotiating, objection, and a listing appointment. But you'll find in there's the farming and self-promotion and mailings. There's also prospecting, but anything that's a mailing piece is going to be in that farming and self-promotion. There's going to be over 300. We have over 500 flyers, checklists, dialogues, but specifically mailings, we have over 300. And but what I want to show you guys, let me not go to, well, I'll show these while I'm here. The FSBO, these are just some examples, Bryson, of the flyers, like the 26 reasons why homeowners shouldn't sell their own home as a FSBO, which those are pretty awesome. 6 reasons your home isn't selling if something's been sitting longer than it should be. Then there's the seller's guide, but let me escape because I want to jump to this letters here. So there's Bryson, we have in the power for the power agents, here's a screenshot. We have dozens of FSBO letters. Then we have dozens of expired letters. These are all Word documents. So power agents, what you would do is when you open the document, this is a screenshot, but it's a Word document. You can just copy the words. I wanted to clarify with Bryson, and then you can just paste it into the RedX, and now that becomes one of your templates. Am I right, Bryson?
Yep, exactly.
Okay, cool. There's some other things while I'm here. When you're following up with FSBOs, like Bryson was talking about lifestyle and things like that, if you have a conversation with a homeowner, they are selling, you can't get that appointment, or they don't want to list with you, offering something of value, like power agents, you have the seller's guide to real estate. This is over 40 pages, this thing, and it's absolutely just incredible. So you can have that as a value-added piece. You can do a whole marketing campaign around it where you can do lead pages and that kind of thing. But we're not going to talk about postcards and that. The point is having a something of value as a follow-up piece for your for-sale owners is another important strategy. Okay, Bryson, let's go back to you. What else do you have for us?
Really, at this point, I've shown you a pretty broad spectrum of what we've got. Okay. So I would just say, as a little closing statement of my little presentation, I would just say you just have to get in and do it. I know it could be overwhelming. I know there are a lot of tools and tricks and tips. Don't spend too much time on that. You will learn as you go. And we've got an amazing support team here. If you have any questions, feel free to call us. You can even chat. We have a help center as well right inside of Vortex. So we are here to help you, but just get in, get your hands dirty.
Awesome. Now, before we go to the questions, I want to answer the pricing portion for everybody. And before I do that, I do have a couple of slides to teach on the stay in focus, Bryson, that you had brought up. And power agents, you'll find if you go to the webinars on demand, there was a webinar I did in February on how to stay focused on high priority activities, which supports this. I just want to let you know that. But here's a couple of things really quick. This is a screenshot from one of our superpower agents, Erica Bassett. And Bryson, everything on her wall is she printed out from the power program. There's the listing inventory chart at the top of the screen. There's the dot board. There's the activities and bingo. So she's just a great power agent. And she's just kicking it, man. She's doing so great. But here's what the dot board is. So this is a screenshot of Mary Crawford's dot board. And the idea is anytime you get a listing, or one of your listings sells, or you take a buyer and they buy a house, you give yourself a dot. There's a concept called gamification, gamifying your business. When you talk, Bryson, about that $20 bill, taking it off the clothesline, that's making a game out of the activity, and the human brain loves games. And this is one of the things that makes apps so powerful, is because there's a certain amount of almost gamification with every app that keeps us sucked in to the app. Now, here's something else that Bryson, you had said as an offshoot to this, and that is about just having conversations with people. This is an example we give our power agents. If you just had one conversation with a seller and, of course, one with a buyer, 2 conversations in 30 days, that's 60 conversations. Man, there's no way if you don't have 60 conversations in a month that you're not going to generate some dots, right? Some listings or sales. So that's another way to gamify. Let's talk about the price, because we have a special for the guests. Now, power agents, I want you to stay on the call too, because we're going to answer your questions for Bryson and RedX and do some coaching. But for the guests, I just want to tell you what option you have right now to tell you about the power program, the coaching, and then the RedX, how it comes together. You can actually participate and become a power agent for just the $5, and you get all these bonuses, and it's really actually pretty incredible. The Reader's Digest version, the short version of the Power Program, is every Monday we have live coaching calls. It's not like this where it's an interview or a training. It's where you can actually ask questions verbally, and we coach you. We record those calls. They go about 2 hours long every Monday, and because that's how many questions we have. One of our Power agents, Deborah, she said that she just loves the Monday calls because it sets the tone for the week. And again, Bryson, he said it so well that prospecting is really a game of winning over negative attitudes that you have about yourself. So if you can be positive, it puts you in the right frame of mind. Also, everything we do is recorded, like this conversation with Bryson is recorded. They become webinars on demand, and we have dozens upon dozens of training for Power agents, along with the Facebook closed group for Power agents where you can network and support each other. Just so proud of the group and how that's put together. Our website is I believe, the best when it comes to a plethora of content for Power agents in how to run their business. But it's skill set. This is a training program and a support program all in one. I'm going to give you just one example of the website. When you log into the account and you go to Classroom, we'll see the areas of real estate like working with buyers or negotiating or objection handling, listing appointments. So let's say you needed help with farming and self-promotion. You wanted to learn some stuff in that regard. When you go there, there'll be some training, there'll be some dialogue, there'll be marketing pieces, checklists to help you stay focused on your marketing campaign. Because there's so much, we added this favorite feature where when you tag something, it goes into a separate folder of your favorite pieces. Let's see, if you wanted to search, let's say something about FSBOs, then it's going to show you everything that's FSBO related, whether it's the dialogue, whether it's some training, whether it's some infographics or reports or any of that stuff. So let's go to the pricing for people. The for 30-day package value that we have for you, if you want to participate with the RedX and the Power Program together, here's what you're going to get. With RedX, you're going to get FSBOs, expireds, pre-foreclosures, houses for rent, geo leads, for farming aspect. You get the Vortex dashboard that Bryson showed you, automated dialer and voicemail technology to help you prospect. Now on the Power Agent side, you're getting the scripts that you can use that should generate 3 appointments for every 5 conversations that you have, dozens of follow-up flyers and mailing pieces, the weekly group coaching calls to help you stay focused and work through this stuff, the weekly live training. So the role-playing partners, not just with RedX, but we're finding, Bryson, that Power agents are actually networking and role-playing with each other, which has just been awesome. So we're very happy about that. So for the 30 days, you get all of this basically for $5. So that's the package that we have for you guys. But there's one other thing, and then we're going to go to the questions, which is, as added bonuses, we're going to give you a PowerPoint slide deck to use on a listing appointment that's geared towards FSBOs. And you can edit that slide deck plus a 1-hour recording on how to do a listing appointment for sale by owners. I didn't get every FSBO, but I listed 7 out of 10. So that was my batting average of FSBOs. And they were New York FSBOs. That's only relevant because they're very angry. So if you can list the New York FSBO, you can list it anywhere. There's also a bonus of the 2021 predictions that people are using with buyers to help them get off the fence. Another e-guide that you can give to buyers and sellers on how to handle multiple offers. If you're a new agent, how to get started, we're going to give you that. The 12 best dialogues in addition to FSBOs and expireds, there's more. How to set up a business page, 3-part business plan. I mean, it's just a ton of stuff that we're giving you. And you're getting it all just for the $5. Okay, with that said, if you want to become Power Agent, you'll click on that button. We're going to open up to questions. And Julie, I'm going to put you in charge of asking the questions that people have for us. So let's rock.
Okay, ready, set, go. Christine asks, how early do you call people? I'm hesitant to call before 9 a.m.
Go ahead, Bryson.
Yeah, we actually found that some of the most productive hours of the day are actually 8 a.m. to 9 p.m. starting in that hour. But again, it depends on your market. I know COVID kind of changed things.
8 a.m.? What'd you say?
Yeah.
8 a.m. to what?
8 a.m. to 9 a.m. would be
okay. I thought you said PM.
Oh, no.
All day, every day.
Which actually, so 8 a.m. to 9 p.m. would be all day, which
all
that's
day,
the
every
best time to call. I thought that was actually a good answer.
Yeah. Honestly, there's not a bad time to call.
Yeah, there is no bad time to call. It's here's what influences the time to call, everybody, power agents and guests, is the time of day that's going to work best for you. Because if you don't pick up the call, even if 5 o'clock was the best and you don't ever make the calls at 5, then that was the worst time for you because you're not making the calls. So the answer to that question is based on what's best for you to overcome your fear to making the call. Next question.
Awesome. How do you put a lead in the follow-up filter?
Awesome. I can show you that. Do you want me to share my screen again?
Yes, sir.
Okay, let's do that. So there are a lot of ways to do this, but basically what I do is you can either put them in your hot leads folder and can you guys see my screen now?
Not yet. It seems like when you do a share screen, it just takes a while for it to kick up. And so while that's happening, what I'm going to say is, Julie, if you can ask any other questions that are Bryson's screen share type of questions, sure. Because then what we'll do is we'll go back to my screen, but let's get his out of the way. Go ahead, Bryson.
Okay. So to put a lead, there are a few different ways that you can put a lead in your follow-up filters or folders. What I would do is, as you're on the call in this detail view, I would just add them to a folder. Just click on that and then pick, what week. And I actually had to manually go and create these because everybody has their own way of doing it. Okay. I like just having my own filter here that I put it into a certain folder. And that just works best for me. That's what I would recommend. The other way is you could actually schedule a callback. And you can put that in a calendar and just say, you know what, I want to call them in a month and I want to call them in the afternoon. They said usually, 1:45 works. So I'll put 1:40, add my note, apply. And once I put that in my callbacks, there's a list up here where you can see anybody who has scheduled callback with. I like to use this just for specific callbacks. They said, hey, can you call me tomorrow at this time? Rather than someone's just like, oh yeah, call me in a couple of weeks. Because this can get kind of overwhelming if you have too many people in there. Hopefully that answered your question.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, gang, when you see like Bryson, we've only had an hour, and so he's just touched upon the awesomeness that this software is for you to help you stay focused and prospect. I'm so I almost love this so much. I'd want to go back to real estate just to really use the RedX because I didn't have this when I was an agent. All right, let's go to the next one, Julie.
Karen said, I noticed the list on the screen says in progress, contacted, and new. What does in progress mean?
Oh, great. So you've got this banner up here, and in progress means that I've at least done something with that lead. So maybe I contacted them, or maybe I just called and they didn't answer. So you can see this disposition here says no answer. So I called that number, no answer. There's contacted, callback, appointment set, all of these different types of tags. So I could then filter my leads by those tags too. So I could go in here and say, well, let's actually create a filter. And I just want to call people that are either brand new or that I tried calling but didn't contact. So those are the in progress ones. And then anybody I did contact, I'll leave out. So I can check all of those and then have a list of people that I'm ready to call.
Look at all those leads. I just love it.
How do you upload those detailed lists into an Excel spreadsheet? In other words, can you export it out into a spreadsheet?
Yep, you can. So pretty easy to do. Whatever list you're looking at, I can click on this checkbox and just select all of those leads, go to Other, and just export it. And it will export as a .csv file. So you can import that into the Darryl's CRM or whatever you're using.
Or you can print the list for people who love the paper and pen. And while you're driving around between appointments and you hit a red light, you make a call, continue. All right, good.
What are the folders next to the client's names?
Oh, I think right here. Is that what you're saying?
I'm not sure.
Hopefully.
There's two folders. There's a drop-down menu, and I guess that's the left. They may be meaning the left, right next to the name. It's a square, maybe.
Right here.
Or maybe the folders. They're talking about the other folders all the way to the left.
So I'll just explain. So folders, you can have a lead that is in multiple folders. So I've got this one here that is in my 2676 West Constance Way, which is one of my listings. And it's also in one of my other folders because I must have pulled it up on another search. Maybe I searched the same area twice. But I could have people in, this one's in 3 different folders. We also have a folder for the last few call sessions that you've done. So it takes the last 10 sessions. So I could see, I dialed people on, 4/28, and I could go and look on April 28th who I called and, just look at that list. That's its own folder as well. So it basically just tells you where the lead is in your different folders so you can organize it any way you want.
Awesome.
What is the Red X deal for existing power agents?
Would add to that. What is the deal for existing power agents? Existing power agents, you don't pay the setup fee. We didn't cover the cost of Red X after. I forgot to mention that. So, so here's how this works. First of all, for power agents, what we said for $5. Okay, if you're not a power agent, $5 gives you everything for 30 days. All right. After the 30 days, power agents, it's $47 a month that you can cancel anytime. In addition to that, if you're going to use the Red X system, because again, that's an outside company that we support, that monthly fee depends on what you get, right? So if you get just FSBOs, just expired, you want to explain the pricing on that part?
Yeah.
Bryson?
Yeah, and you can even just go to our website and see we have a la carte pricing, but I'll just make it simple. If you got everything that we have and prepaid for an entire year, you could spend $5,000 on everything we have, but if you monthly, you could spend $500 a month, or you could spend as little as $30, $40 a month with just our FSBOs or pre-foreclosures. So it just depends on what you want.
So don't anybody get scared with that $5,000 because again, that was paying for everything in advance, upfront, everything. So if you just did the for sale by owners and expireds and houses for rent, perhaps it's somewhere about $130 a month.
Yeah. And
then if you added the storm dialer, that's another $100. So I will tell you the average power agent actually winds up paying, I think it's $185 a month because they don't get everything. And so that's the ballpark. But I will tell you, don't let those numbers freak you out at all, because how much would you have to pay an assistant to find FSBOs and expireds and put it into such an organized system like that? It would cost you a ton more. Here's the other thing. If you assume you're not going to make money in getting listings, then yes, it costs. But if you assume that this is going to empower you, so you are prospecting and going on appointments and getting listings, well, one listing would pay for this for the next 5 years. One listing that sells, right? So anyway, that's it on that. Next question, Julie.
Where would you start with expireds? How far back would you go?
I would start with the brand new ones every day, but I would go as far back as probably 2 or 3 years, because we know they have equity. We know they tried to sell, and people just, they, for whatever reason, maybe they decided, we have to do some renovations, or there are lots of objections they could have that they decided to pull it off the market, cancel the listing. So it's just a matter of asking them, and it's going to depend in your area too. So I found, as I'm calling older expireds, if I go farther back than 4 or 5 years, a lot of those people have already sold. So my sweet spot is like 2 to 3 years, but it might be different for you. So trial and error, but call them, see what happens.
Yeah. Just call them. Yeah.
Marianne really likes you, Bryson. She wants to know how many listings you took in your first year of business.
In my first year, so I have a team right now. We're on track to do 60 deals this year, and this is my first year.
Awesome.
So, and it's just my partner and I, not like a 6-person team. It's just he and I and a transaction coordinator.
Now, hang on a second. So let's just wrap our brains around what you just said. First of all, where are you located? You're in Utah, right?
Yeah, Utah.
Okay. And how long did you get back into real estate now? Just want to remind people that you were actually working at RedX. And so you got back into real estate as an agent. So when was that?
So I activated my license October of last year and actually left my full-time RedX position beginning of this year. So I think it was like beginning of February. Okay. And so already, I mean, in my first 90 days of like full-time work, averaging about 5 appointments a week. I think in my first 2 weeks, I went on 17 appointments.
Oh, man.
So it definitely works. Obviously, I've been listening to great coaches like you. I've been around, and I just make a lot of calls. Yeah. And so, yeah, it definitely works. You just have to make the calls, go on the appointments.
Listen, here's what everybody, I want power agents especially to hear what Bryson just said. I can't stress this enough. I really wanted you to get your brain wrapped around this, gang, is that to have success. So Bryson just said that he's on track. It's only been a couple of months, but he's on track to doing 60 deals this year. It's his first year in the business. So, and that's not even a full year, right? But anyway, here's the point. How you do that is by doing a lot of the same thing consistently, period, end of story. So, which is what he just said. By you calling FSBOs and expired, some of you want to get good before you pick up the phone because you don't want to sound stupid. And that's not, you don't get good until you do sound stupid for a while, because it's from that you actually get better and learn. But you've got to get on the field. You've got to start doing it and be consistent. You know, it's same thing like a diet. I love using those analogies about a diet because you don't lose it right away. You got to do the same thing, good habits, eating habits consistently, day in and day out, and eventually you will see the results. You do make mistakes along the way. Some days you screw up, but you get back on track. Okay. Am I right, Bryson, what I'm saying here?
Oh, yeah. I will say too, I think my first 7 appointments, I didn't take any of those listings because I didn't know what I was doing, and I wasn't coming across with confidence. I didn't come with a pre-listing packet prepared. I just didn't have what it took, but I knew the prospecting part of it, and I just had to learn along the way. Mm-hmm. And so it does take it's a learning curve.
Yeah.
And you're going to have a weakness somewhere, so just get used to it.
Yeah, man. Okay, good. Next question, Julie.
Does RedX also provide email addresses for geo leads and expireds?
Yes, it depends. So we have with Geo Leads 2 different options. There's our just Geo Leads normal, and then we've got Geo Leads Plus. And Geo Leads, our standard service, gives you 2,000 lookups per month. Geo Leads Plus gives you up to 5,000 lookups, and you get email addresses. So you get.
What's the difference on the pricing between those 2 Geo Leads?
Geo Leads is 50. Geo Leads Plus is another 50, so 100 total for
and that's a month
per month. Yeah.
Okay. And so again, just so you understand, the Geo Leads is for getting basically downloading addresses for people. So how you use that tool is if a listing comes out and you just want to cold call that neighborhood around the new listing, that's where Geo Leads would come in. You type in the address, you download those people, and you hit it. Now, I will say, in that scenario, if somebody's on the do not call list, then you don't call them. The exception is, and again, people have different opinions. The exception is with FSBOs and expireds because there was a prior relationship. So legality, which we've checked it out with our firm, that you can call FSBOs and expireds. Okay. Next question, Julie.
Can you just send an email to all of your checked lists instead of talking to them?
You could. One of the things that you may run into is, and it depends if you're using MailChimp but if you just use your email and you're spamming all these people and they start clicking unsubscribe, your email will all of a sudden become marked as spam for anybody. So you got to be careful when you're mass emailing. Make sure you know what you're doing. Generally, I tend to find that doing that in a CRM with a drip campaign is going to be a lot better than just downloading this list and just emailing them and saying, hey, do you want to sell? I would talk to them first, knock on their door first, call them. That's going to be a lot more effective. But if you want to, mass email them, just make sure you're doing it the right way so you don't get flagged and waste your time.
Yeah, great question.
Get past that fear of getting on the phone.
Yeah.
Debbie used RedX last month, had some difficulty setting up her MLS. Do you have help? What is your
just call RedX. They're going to walk you through that. The customer service is great. Yeah.
Are the phone numbers landlines or cell numbers? Because most people are gone during the day. So if I'm making calls in the morning, if they're landlines, it wouldn't make sense to make calls in the evening.
Yes. We have everything, anything we can find that is associated with that homeowner. So it'll be landlines, cell phones, Google Voice numbers, all of the above.
How accurate is the data on expired so we know it's not relisted or sold already?
Great question. So we are going to cross-check against the active, sold, pendings, all the other statuses on a daily basis. So as long as the agent updated it in the MLS correctly, then it will be correct and you'll know. So I'll just show you real quick. If I go to my expireds right now.
Wait a second, you got to take control of the screen.
Oh, I do. Okay. I'll just explain this because it'll take a little while. But basically, anytime that anybody relists, then it will take that out of your list. So you won't accidentally call them. And there is a place with all of the data so you can go and see if you're missing a lead. You're like, hey, I called somebody and now they're not on my list. It might be because they relisted with someone else.
Bryson, if you start with the preview dialer, is it an easy transition to the power dialer?
Yes. And the preview line dialer is, it does not have voicemail capabilities, so you can't pre-record a voicemail. It's a limited amount of minutes, but it works essentially the exact same. So very easy to transition.
I'm going to jump in here with the questions because I'm answering George right now. I'm trying to save some time because we're getting so many questions. George Calzada, he asked, does RedX and Power Agents have training tutorials on how to navigate their website? George, so absolutely both companies, we have incredible training available for you guys. So RedX, number one, they have a support team that will walk you through things. They have video training is incredible. For Power Agents, every Tuesday we have a live onboarding where you can actually call in on a Zoom and ask questions, and we share the screen and show you the website. Plus, we have other tutorials and training. Plus, you're going to get, gang, just so you know, especially for the new Power Agents that are either brand new, they just started with us, or you're about to become one today, it's called onboarding. In the first 30 days during your trial, you get texts, you get phone calls, you get emails, you get, we so take care of you because we want you to become part of the family by the end of the trial, that you fully are using and understanding the program. And RedX is the same philosophy. So that's your answer, George.
Wonderful. On Monday's coaching call, we were talking about sending cards to FSBOs. Do you recommend sending a card first or just picking up the phone?
I mean, Darryl, do you want to take that one? I wasn't in your
Ask the question call. Again. I'm sorry, because I'm trying to also answer questions, help the team. What was the question, Julie?
On Monday's coaching call, you mentioned sending cards out to FSBOs. Would you recommend sending the card first or calling?
Oh, great. Okay, so here's always my philosophy when it comes to mailings versus telephone. To me, telephone calls are always the first step. And if you can, and here's why. It's quicker, it's more effective, you can get more appointments, you can get more listings. Mailings is a passive activity that makes you feel good. At least I'm doing something, and it will produce something, and it takes time though for that. But the odds, the return on time invested, think about how many mailings you'd have to do to get some listings. If you just sat down, like Bryson said, and you bang out phone calls you are going to get some listings. With Bryson, so to answer your question, I prefer the phone always first. Bryson, you said you went on 7 listing appointments and you didn't get any listings after because you didn't know what to say. When you changed your listing appointment, how effective were you then starting to become?
Oh yeah, I mean, I think in the next several appointments I got, I was getting about 7 out of 10 that were, yeah, we'll list with you. And so it definitely changed once I learned a few things.
Now, Power Agents, I will show you something. I'm going to jump over to the actual, I'm in the live website right now. This is not the PowerPoint screenshot because I just want to show the Power Agent something about that. When you remember what I said, gang, this is alphabetical, the classroom. So if you need help with handling objections, or you're a new agent, or negotiating offers, which people are clicking on that a lot lately, if you go to the listing appointment, in the listing appointment, you're going to find a plethora, and I mean a plethora of great stuff, especially in how to list FSBOs, because what you should know, those of you that don't know this, is that I built my business as an agent listing FSBOs in New York. Now, I joke about tough New Yorkers, but they are. FSBOs in New York, they will curse at you and then they hang up. So you really have to get strong at the listing appointment. And in this, you're going to find your PowerPoint presentation, and here it is. The listing presentation, Darryl's tutorial, and it shows you how to use the PowerPoint slide deck on a FSBO. So, and there's the actual slide deck, listing appointment presentation. If I click on that, it's going to open up this huge thing. So, okay, go back, Julie, to the questions.
Wonderful. Let's see, Darryl, this has proven to be successful in large markets. Do agents in small rural markets find Red X to be successful?
I'll let you handle that, Bryce. So what would you say?
Yeah, I mean, it really just is a numbers game. So I would go into your MLS, see how many expireds you're seeing in your MLS in the areas that you would actually work. Because we will pull information for you. But if it's a smaller market, obviously the numbers are going to be a little bit smaller. So that's when I would say call geo leads. Those are ones that you can pull as many of those as you want if you don't have a ton of expireds or a ton of for sale by owners. And it does depend. I mean, if you're in this little podunk town, maybe we don't have data for you, but most places in the U.S., we're going to find something for you.
Yeah.
Beautiful. If you're a Power Agent, how do you get the offer for Red X?
Yeah. So if you're a Power Agent, all you have to do is go to darrylspecial.com, right? So Darryl Special, all one word, DA. Maybe we'll put that in the chat, Julie.
It's actually the Tech Tools and Training as well. You'll always find the coupon there in Tech Tools and Training in your classroom.
Yeah, I'm in the process of trying to download the seller's guide, which is so huge. But yeah, let me show everybody that. But in the meantime, tell everybody about the darrylspecial.com. It's all one word. If you guys go there, you will see now, by the way, Power Agents, you can find the Red X also going here. So this is in the classroom. But to get that special, you go to darrylspecial.com, and that's how you can do it. But here's the other way to do it, Tech Tools and Training. So when you go to Tech Tools and Training, you're going to see the Red X special.
At the top in the coupon.
Top right.
Yeah. Yep, there you go. Oh, thank you, guys. So there's the coupon for that. Okay. So, all right, next question, Julie.
How often does Red X update the geo leads and phone numbers? I came across some wrong numbers.
And you will. I mean, you're gonna call plenty of people that are wrong numbers, disconnected. So just know that'll happen no matter what. But we update these as well as on the do not call list at a daily basis. And basically what we do, just so you kind of understand how it works, we have a series of enterprise level data providers that we will go and scrub the data against, and then have an algorithm that's going to say, this is the most likely correct phone number. This is the second one, the third one. So we're always updating. We even last week just finished a data study where we had temps come in and call like thousands and thousands of phone numbers so we could test the data as we're looking for other data providers.
Yeah, listen, gang, here's the thing. Like Tip Bryson said, nothing is perfect, but this system is still better than if you were trying to do it yourself. So that's the most important thing. Keep in mind. I did see somebody ask about the seller's guide, and I do want to address that really quick. Power Agents, I'll show you where this is, but let me for how I found it. But I want to first show you what the guide is. This guide is a value-added book that you could print out, and I'll just give you an overview. This is the number of pages, and it's over, let's say, 43 pages. So this whole thing can be edited and customized. So if you look at this, where it says agent's name, that's where you would put your contact information. So at the bottom of every page, you can customize it that way. That's number one. Number two is if I go to the last page, as I'm scrolling through, there's where you put your photo, your contact information. So you can make this guide your guide, is the point. Now, there's a lot of things. We don't have time because this is not what this webinar is about. But this guide, you can actually do a whole marketing campaign. You can do postcards around it. You can do a website around it. You can put it in your email signature for people. It's very powerful that we have. Now, this is how I found it. So let me see. What I did was, because I couldn't remember where we were hosting this in this site. So what I did is I typed in the word seller, and it found every item in the Power Program website that has the word seller in the title. So here is the postcard for the seller's guide. Here's a landing page for the seller's guide. There's the seller's guide that I just opened up. Now, by the way, a lot of our items, we actually transcribed it into Spanish. Or converted to Spanish on transcribe. So if you need that, that's important to you, we have that option as well. Anyway, let's go on. Next question, Julie.
I joined offers.com already. What is the difference between them and RedX?
I missed. It's called offers.com.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I'm not sure. I'm not as familiar with offers.com. I know there are a few different data providers out there that will look at whoever's receiving mail at the address instead of who's on the tax records. So with other types of services, you'll often run into more renters than actual homeowners. And that's one thing that does differentiate us from a lot of those other competitors out there.
When you went on listing appointments, did you use the You Are Connected to RedX as a tool to get listings? What was your experience at RedX? Did that help to set you apart from other agents in your area?
Yeah, I think it did. And just the short answer would be any exposure that you can get to what top producers are doing. You know, these amazing power agents, you know, look to them, role play with them, any connections you can have. And I think, I don't remember where I learned this, but you're basically going to be the combination of the 5 people you spend the most time with. And so I've made sure to connect myself to top producers in the area and people that already were having success with RedX. And so anything you can do to surround yourself is going to be super helpful. But I think my experience at RedX definitely helped.
Which package includes the market insights? That was a really cool feature, by the way.
So if you use the link that Darryl gives you to sign up for RedX, it will be in the tools section. So there's a whole sign up process with RedX. Or you can just call our sales team. And if you say the word Darryl, they're going to know exactly how to help you. We are very familiar with Darryl Davis. So just call us and just say, hey, I heard about your market insight packages. We're going to give you a free trial, the 30 days of whatever you want. But that's also in the sign up process there.
Awesome. Marianne asks, how many searches are we allowed to pull each month?
Search it. So like for expires, you get anything in the MLS. So you're all covered there. FSBOs, anything that we find in the areas that you've chosen. Geo leads, you get 2,000 searches, which basically means we count it as any property that we find at least one phone number counts as a credit, a Geo leads credit. If you get Geo leads plus, you get 5,000. So you're going to have plenty of leads. Don't worry. If you get through all of those and you don't have business, something's wrong.
There'll be more every day. There's more
every day.
I'll read Stan Lewis's. He's asking about the accuracy comparing to Vulcan and Mojo Cells, which we kind of addressed that. Although I'm going to say something. He also asked about Onyx, which that question came up a couple of times. So let me just say about Vulcan, Mojo Cells. These other companies, the Vulcan and Mojo Cells, what they were automated dialers first, and then they added the leads to their system. So their specialty was the dialing aspect, not the lead themselves. Whereas RedX, the opposite was true. RedX was first the master at getting leads, scrubbing it, getting accurate information. And then they added the dialer, and which they actually contracted with another company to bring that piece in. So they were special at that. So the bottom line is, between all those companies that are out there, Mojo, Cells, and blah, blah, RedX, in my opinion, is the absolute best. So now let's talk about Onyx. What is the Onyx that people were seeing on the screen?
So Onyx is another data provider that we found that it just kind of blew all of the other data providers out of the water. We were finding that if you had 100 leads and you called all of those leads up to 3 times, so that could be like 450 phone calls, you would end up talking to about 26% of those 100 people.
Okay.
And with Onyx, with that new provider, that bumped it up to about 45% that you're actually having a connection with. So it is more expensive. There's a premium. It's $100 more a month for Onyx. But it also includes emails for expireds. So that's what Onyx is. It's just a premier upgrade to your data.
I recommend for new agents in using the RedX is that you don't do everything. Like during the 30 days, you can maybe sign up for everything because it's free as a power agent. But once that 30 days, and they're gonna start charging them monthly, is maybe then trim it down to just FSBOs and maybe Onyx. Like start to, as you grow in learning the software and the folders and the filters, then you can continue to add as you go along. That's my advice. Agreed. And the reason why that's a good advice, in my opinion, not because I said it, but because if you commit to like the hundreds and hundreds every month, and you're only using this much of the software, you're not going to see the value in what you are using, because you're going to be focused on what you're not using and paying for, and then you'll just cancel. So start with a little bit, pay a little bit, and grow into the software. And that's Next question, Julie.
What headset do you use, Bryson, when you're calling?
I've used a few different headsets. Honestly, I'll use my AirPods or just my iPhone cord here. But I've used Plantronics is one of the ones that I am a fan of. But honestly, you can do whatever you want with the dialer. You could just plug it right into your computer, or you can use you can pick up your phone and just use your speakerphone. So it doesn't really matter.
Yeah, good.
Martin wants to send you a referral, so.
Oh, awesome! I accept those.
He has what's your web address or email or whatever you want to give Bryson, so people business.
Yeah, and I'll put it in the chat too. But it's just Bryson Toth, BrysonToth @kw.com.
Perfect. Bryson, have you been successful calling around just listed, just sold contact?
Yeah. So we had one listing that was listed at $800,000, sold for $860,000, and ended up calling the neighbors, telling them about it, and got another listing out of that. A guy that's going to sell probably for $950,000. His house was even better. So it definitely works. Keep in mind, it's a numbers game. You're going to call hundreds of people, and there's going to be that one that invites you over, and you're able to actually get a listing out of. But definitely works.
And for every no, you're that much closer to a yes, right? So
yeah.
What is the difference between a folder and a filter?
So one of the ways to explain that is a filter is always changing, kind of like your air filter. It's bringing in air, getting rid of the stuff you don't want, so you can breathe the stuff you do want. That's how the filters work. So you can set a filter up to say, just show me expireds that I haven't worked with that are in these 3 cities. And as soon as one of those leads doesn't fit that criteria, it gets kicked out. So, let's say it's an expired, and then they end up relisting. Well, it's going to kick it out. Or it is you just wanted to see expired in the last 10 days. Well, once you hit 10 days later, it's going to kick it out. So you can create whatever you want for a filter, whereas a folder is a bucket. You put it in there, it's not going to leave until you take it out.
So power agents know that I love analogies. So the analogy would be if you're younger or whatever, you're single, you're looking, dating, and you have an app, and you tell the app, filter out all of the people that don't have these criteria, and that all the leads that you have for dating will show up that meet your criteria. I don't know if that was a good analogy, but for some reason it popped into my head.
Darryl, you're cutting out a little bit.
Oh, okay. Well, wasn't that funny anyway? Okay. Let's go on.
I heard you.
Yeah, let's go on to the next question.
Where do we find the Red X in the classroom again? The Red X offer?
Yeah,
Tech Tools and Training?
Yeah, if you go to, thank you, Julie, for directing me to that. So if you go to Classroom Gang and then you go to Tech Tools and Training, I do want to tell everybody that that's where you'll find the Red X coupon. You click there for that. But there's other coupons that we have for you guys, other vendors that we work relationship with. And because it's Tech Tool and Training, you're going to see some other things in there too. You'll see some e-guides about social media, LinkedIn, Instagram, how to use Zoom. Box Brownie, we're a big fan of Box Brownie, great company. So there's some tech stuff in training there. There's also, we did a whole series of tech training videos, like how to use RPR and get the most out of it, how to use Canva, how to use PowerPoint, staging, Zoom 101, 102. Anyway, there's some really incredible, great platforms that you should be using, and we have recordings for that for you as well. So
fantastic. Jane asked, the preferred closure leads, are the leads the past 90-day default?
Yeah, so we are going to look at when the notice of default was filed, and we'll update if it goes to auction or past that. We will update those leads for you. It is based on your county courthouse records. So as soon as they get those filed is when we can actually get them. And some counties are better than others. So I would just recommend you call us and we can tell you if you've got a good county or not. But keep in mind too, that in about, September or so in a lot of states, forbearance, a lot of the forgiveness that governments had is going to be lifted. And so there are going to be a lot more pre-foreclosures to reach out to, and they'll have options because they have equity.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. Mm-hmm. Valerie, what do you do with leads that say phone unavailable?
A knock on their door, email them. Yeah.
Or you can do it. Listen, somebody asked about doing the mailings. Do you call first or do you mail? And that's an example right there. I'm going to show you. Power agents, new power agents. We have, so if I'm in the farming and self-promotion tab, there's e-guides, but then there's flyers. So we try, again, alphabetize everything the way we think you'll find it. We've been told by many power agents that you love how we organized everything. So these are all flyers that you can use in farming and prospecting. But then you go to L for letters, you're going to see a tremendous amount of letters. There's a series of expired letters, which is not a big thing in our market right now. But then there's also for sale by owners somewhere. I don't see it tagged up here yet, Julie. So we had a tech problem. So we're putting the FSBO letters in there. I don't see them on the screen. But then we have newsletters to send out. So there's a tremendous amount of stuff that you could be sending out to people when you have their address and not their phone number from RedX. And once again, like we said, you guys can export your leads from RedX into the Power Builder CRM soon. We're still working on that. That'll happen soon.
Yeah,
and then
she's putting in prospecting, so she's putting them in the other tabs as well. So she's doing that now.
Okay. So the FSBO letters will be here, but so we're told by Julie that they were put into the prospecting. So when I go to prospecting, and I do want to show the prospecting anyway. In the prospecting, there is some of the charts to help you stay focused and motivated, but there's all the dialogue, book of business, business associates, calling around new listings for your farm area, expired voicemail, houses for rent. There's the FSBO magic dialogue. new listings around, old FSBO dialogue, like Bryson talked, vacant properties, orphans. I'm not going to get into that. But if I go to the letters, there's the FSBO letters as well in the prospecting. These are all Word documents, gang. So these Word documents can actually be edited so easily. When you open it up, like if I click on this, I don't know if you can see on my screen, but it's launching my my Word, Microsoft Word, and you can't see it, but now I know you can. And then you can actually then edit this letter however you want to. If you don't like anything that we wrote except for the first 2 words, there you go. And that's a great thing about that. Okay. Next question, Julie.
I love it. I think that's it.
Okay.
You want to put the offer back up, the offer screen back up? So
yeah. So if you guys are, let me see where to do that. If you guys are not currently a power agent, I'm going to encourage you to click on that little come and see camera floating button there, because as soon as we hang up, that thing's going to go away. So my advice is, if you got any value out of this, sign up for the $5. I will tell you one other thing is everything that's on the screen right now, you get to keep. So if during the $5 30-day trial, you decide that you want to quit, then you got everything for $5, which I think is an absolute, you can't get anything better than that.
Plus 30 days of REDX.
Plus you get REDX for 30 days. And so anyway, we're here to support you. One other thing I do want to tell, especially the new power agents, is that we have our little chat feature there on the website. And that's driven by real human beings. It's not automated, and unless we're not working, but you'll get to talk to somebody. So if you have any questions, we're here to support you. You can call the office too and actually talk on the phone as well. So there's the option. There you go. All right. Julie, anything else? Are we good?
I think we're good.
Bryson, listen, you are busy with on track to getting your 60 transactions. I really appreciate you carving out 90 minutes of your life to make a difference in other people's lives, because that's really what you did. So I want to personally thank you for making a contribution to people's lives the way you just did today. Thank you so much. And thank you, everybody. You guys are awesome. Stay safe, stay focused. And don't forget to keep smiling. Okay, talk to you soon.
Bye everyone.